Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Vadarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeri Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. The topic of our retreat is Tad Vishnoho Paramam Padam. Vishnoho of Vishnu. Paramam Padam, the supreme abode of Lord Vishnu. That is the statement from Kaṭha Upaniṣad. The verse from where the statement comes is given here, no page number, but he says, verse number 9, Vijnana sarthiryastu manah pragrahavan naraha sudvanah paramapnoti tad vishnu paramam padam. Everybody has this handout? Okay. Second line says, Sodvanah paramapnoti tad vishnoho paramam padam. Saha advanah param apnoti. He reaches the other end of the road. He reaches the destination. Tad vishnoho paramam padam. Paramam padam, the supreme abode. Tad Vishnu, of that Vishnu. So can we have the verse here on the board? Although everybody has a handout, but still it will help. Saha advanah param apnoti. Advan means a road. Advana param, the other end of the road, that's the destination. What is the destination? Tad Vishnu paramam param. Vishnu of the Vishnu, of Lord Vishnu. Paramam padam, the supreme abode of Lord Vishnu. So this traveler reaches that supreme abode of Lord Vishnu, which is his destination. The second line describes how this traveler attains the destination of his life, which is described as Vishnu Paramam Padam, the supreme abode of Vishnu. Vishnu, of course, is the Lord Vishnu. Because the word Vishnu is explained as Vevesti iti Vishnu. Vishnu means that which pervades everything. Vevesti, the one who pervades everything, is called Vishnu. See, the word Vishnu, that is that word Vish. And that Vish means to enter. So one that enters everything is called Vishnu. One who has entered everything, one who has entered everybody as a self of all. So one that is the self of all, that is the self of this universe, which is the truth of the universe, is called Vishnu. And therefore, of course, he is the self of ourselves also. That is the destination of the life. It's interesting how our own self becomes a destination of our life. How can I become the destination of myself? I am the traveler and I am the destination. But I am the traveler, therefore the destination is my own nature. Therefore to say that I am my destination sounds very strange, is it not so? But that's what Vedanta teaches. When Vedanta says Tattvamasi, that thou art, that is that destination. Thou means you are that destination. You are that which you are seeking to reach in your life. Apparently, every moment we are seeking to become something, seeking to attain something. In the human mind, there is always a desire to acquire something, desire to become something. Desire is something that is most common in our mind. And desire shows a lack of something. I cannot desire what I already have. I can only desire what I don't have. And thus there is a feeling that I don't have something. Feeling in me that I'm lacking something, I'm wanting something. There is within my heart a self-dissatisfaction. I am not satisfied with myself. And that self-dissatisfaction leads to dissatisfaction with other things also. Whenever I express my dissatisfaction with you or with anything else, that also results from my dissatisfaction from myself. The human being has a very interesting situation. As a human being, I am born with self-dissatisfaction. Because I am a self-conscious being, a self-aware being. I'm always conscious of myself, always aware of myself. And I always have an idea of who I am. It's called a self-judgment. I always have a judgment about myself, about who I am. And my usual judgment or conclusion about myself is that I am not quite all right as I am. The basic source of all the desires in our mind, that we want to achieve something, we want to become something, we want to reach something, comes from a conclusion that I do not have what I want to become, I am not what I want to become, I am not where I want to reach, I don't have what I want. It is that conclusion about myself is what brings about a variety of desires. And therefore, self-dissatisfaction is the common thread behind all the desires. Although I may feel that I am not happy with this given object, therefore I want it to be different. I'm not happy with my job, not happy with my home, I'm not happy with this, that, and so forth. And therefore I want to change. But my unhappiness or dissatisfaction with anything else arises from my dissatisfaction with myself. So this is something that we are born with. A human being is born with a sense of self-dissatisfaction. Because I am constantly aware of myself, and it is my conclusion that the self that I am aware of is not something that is adequate, not something that I want to be, or it is something different from what I am. I am not happy with what I am. This is something very interesting that Ishvara has done for us. That human being is born with a sense of self-dissatisfaction. And therefore, I am never comfortable with myself. You leave me to myself, I always engage myself in some activity which usually of the nature of escaping from myself. You leave me to myself, in a short time I become quite restless with myself because I am not happy or comfortable with my own self. It is the reason why we engage ourselves in various activities. First thing in the morning I look out for is the newspaper. So I engage myself in getting, what's happening in various parts of the world. When that is over, then I may go for something else, but I keep myself engaged with something other than myself. If you pay attention, you will find that many of our activities are born of not being happy or comfortable with our own self. So discomfort with myself or dissatisfaction with myself is a common thread behind all the desires and behind all my activities. Because the moment when I am happy with myself, there is no motivation to do anything. Then I am quite content. When I am discontent, then there is motivation or drive to do something. I am driven to do something. The self-dissatisfaction drives me to do something. So a human being is driven, constantly driven to do something. Thus, as human beings, we are born with the sense of self-dissatisfaction. Therefore, the only thing that I want is just to be happy with myself. All that I want in my life is just satisfaction with myself, contentment with myself. That's all I want. You'll be surprised to know this, that is all I want, to be happy with myself. And there's one place where I am not happy. And therefore I am seeking out some other time, some other place, some other person, some other object, some other activity to feel happy. In all those activities, there is this attempt to avoid myself, escape from myself, from a dissatisfied self. That is why human being is constantly searching for something, trying to become something, trying to become happy or happy. That is what he is trying to become. Because he is not happy with himself, he is restless with himself. So what does he want? This verse says, Tad Vishnoho Paramam Padam. Tat Padam, that Padam, that abode, Paramam Padam, the limitless abode. Vishnoho Paramam Padam, that limitless abode of Lord Vishnu. What is said, Vishnu also means Vyavestite Vishnu, the one that pervades everything, one that is boundless is called Vishnu because he pervades everything. That which pervades naturally is greater than what it pervades. Therefore, Vishnu means one that pervades everything. Therefore, he is boundless, the limitless. Thus that supreme abode of boundlessness, limitlessness is what we reach, is what we are seeking. Because we find ourselves bound or limited. I find myself bound, I find myself limited, therefore I am not satisfied with myself, and therefore I am struggling all the time to be different from what I am. If we look at any activity, we will find that in that activity there is a motivation to change myself in time, change myself in place. In some way I always want to bring about a change in myself so that I'll be happier or better than what I am. So what do I want? Tad Vishnoho Paramam Padam. I think that the supreme abode is in wealth, therefore I try to acquire wealth. I think it is in fame, therefore I try to acquire fame. At some time I think it is in power, I seek to acquire power. At some point I may think that it is in heaven, I try to seek heaven. In everything that I am seeking, in every desire that I am trying to fulfill, it's only one goal, and that is Vishnu Param Padam, the desire behind all the desires is to attain that boundless abode of Vishnu, boundlessness, limitlessness is the goal of the desire behind all the desires. A statement that is selected from the Kaṭha Upaniṣad says that a given person attains that boundlessness. He attains that freedom from all the desires. Kaṭha Upaniṣad, as you know, is a dialogue between Nachiketa, who is the young disciple, and Lord Yama, who is a teacher. Yama is the Lord of Death, as we know. In Kaṭha Upaniṣad, the Lord of Death, Yamaraja himself, is a teacher. And he is an ideal teacher. But he knows about this life as well as knows what is beyond this life also. He knows what it is after death because He is the Lord of death. He knows what this life is. In that way, Lord Yama is the ideal teacher, the teacher in Kaṭha Upaniṣad. And this young boy, Nachiketa, maybe 12-year-old, not quite 16 yet. How does he find himself in a situation where he becomes a disciple of Lord Yama? Nachiketa had some very strong qualities. Some very strong virtues. One virtue was Shraddha, the trust in the scriptures. And second virtue was his commitment to Satyam, or the truth. As Kaṭha Upaniṣad describes, Nachiketa's father, Vajashravasa, was performing a yaga. Sarva Veda Samdadau. Vajashravasa was performing a yaga, or a ritual which required him to give away everything that he had. It seems in the Vedic times people perform this kind of rituals as a preparation for Swarga. And towards the end of the ritual, as you know, dakshina, or the gift, is given to the priest. The time has come when the priests are given the gift of dakshina. In the Vedic times, the cow was considered the wealth. Wealth was measured in terms of how many cows do you have. It was customary to gift cows to the Brahmanas. But then the Brahmana's life would be sustained. Because cow would give everything, he gives milk and all milk products, all dairy products. The male cow would be, he carried out his agriculture, etc., farming with that. So cow was considered to be the center of the whole universe. Because yajna, the cow was the main and reason for, gives whatever is required to perform the yajna. The female cow gives all the milk product, the dairy products. The male cow helps you in farming and thus gives all the grains, all that is required for performing yajna. Therefore it was customary to give cows to the Brahmanas. And Nachiketa's father, Vajashravasa, also undertook the performance of this yaga called Vishvajit yaga, in which one gave everything that one had. So Nachiketa was a young boy, maybe 12 years old. His father was his teacher also, because it was customary that every child would go to Gurukulam and study. So Nachiketa was well versed in the Vedic lore also. So the young Nachiketa was watching the cows that were being given away as a gift to the Brahmanas. And he was disturbed by what he saw. Shraddha entered Nachiketa. Shraddha, Avivesha, Shraddha took hold of the mind of Nachiketa when he saw this. Piyatodakaha jagdatrunaha dugdadoha nirindriyaha. He found that his father was giving away cows. They're totally useless. They had given the last milk, eaten the last grass, drunk the last water. You're good for nothing. Anandanamate loka tamsa gaccheta. He knew that one who gives this kind of cows as gift to the Brahmana will go to hell. Not to hell, heaven. Anandanamate loka. Ananda means those which are devoid of ananda. Meaning that my father will wind up in hell where there is nothing but pain. So Nachiketa started thinking, I am putra, I am the son. Your putra is explained as derived from put plus tra. Put apparently is the name of a naraka or a hell. And put nama narakatrayate, whose putra is the one that protects or saves his father from this hell called put, is called putra. So Nachiketa saw that giving away this kind of useless cows to the Brahmanas, my father will wind up in hell for sure. And I am a worthy son. It is my duty to make sure that my father is saved from going to hell. So what should I do now? Why the father is giving away this kind of useless cows? That explanation is not given in the Upaniṣad. It just says, Pitodakaha jagdatrunaha dugdadoha nirindriyaha. Kind of cows that are being given were the ones who had drunk the last water, given the last milk, eaten the last grass, means not capable of doing anything. Why was it so? We don't know. Some people are not very kind. They say that his father was saving good cows for his son. And they were giving away all these useless cows to Brahmanas. But I don't like that explanation. I mean, that was the intention. Why did he perform the yajna in the first place? So my sympathetic explanation is that maybe the father ran out of the cows and so he was obliged to give away the cows that were otherwise useless. You know, sometimes in the ceremony you find that Brahmanas are 5 rupees, 10 rupees, they keep on bringing out some more and more things ultimately which were never planned. So maybe here also the priest kept on demanding, 5 more cows, 10 more cows, 50 more cows, which the father had not planned, and therefore he had no choice but to give away the cows that are otherwise useless. That is what I like to say. Giving benefit of doubt to the father. But this is what the father was giving, and that's not right. So Nachiketa thought that my father will ultimately wind up in hell by giving these kind of cows. So what should I do as a worthy son? Son is called Putra, who protects his father from hell. So what should I do of protecting my father from going to hell? Maybe I can offer myself to my father that, hey father, you can give me as dakshina instead of, If you run out of cow, then you know wealth. I'm your wealth. You can give me away. The difference between a son and a cow is that in a cow you don't need to seek permission. But you cannot give away your son. You have to seek his permission. Because cow doesn't talk and son can talk and can express his intention. So Nachiketa thought, well, let me go to my father and offer myself. Tata kasmai mam dasasiri. Father, who are you going to give me? Who are you going to give me? Dvitiyam, Tritiyam. A second time, third time. Father was very busy and he got irritated at this repeated question from the son. Father easily get irritated from the children anyway. When children also sometimes they insist upon upon something. So Dvitiyam, Tritiyam, yeah, second time, third time, father got irritated. It is not the way for a child to behave. So out of anger, he says, Mrityavetva dadameti, I am giving you to death. Like our mother used to say, go and jump in the well. Sometimes she would get irritated and say something like this. Go and jump in the well. That does not mean you jump in the well. You never did that. So here also father said, go to hell. I'm giving you to hell. But then Nachiketa was a different kind of a son. He heard this, Mrityavetva dadameti, I'm giving you to death. Nachiketa heard this. So he went away from there into solitude and started thinking, why did father say this? We would think that hey, father is an old man. And so this is his nature. Don't give much seriousness, Don't take it seriously. But Nachiketa did not dismiss the words of his father like that. He took them seriously. Why did father say, I'm giving you to death? Is he punishing me? So he started thinking, but I haven't done anything lately to deserve this punishment. The father was a teacher also, Nachiketa was son, but I am generally in the first row of the students or second row at the most, never in the last row. I am either a good student or a middling student, never an inferior student. So why should father punish me like this? He could not arrive at the reason why the father should punish him. Then he came to conclusion that father has said this out of anger. He did not say it right away. First, he gave benefit of doubt to his father that he said it, there must be some reason. I must have done something. What did I do to deserve this punishment for going to the Yamaraja? And what can I do for Yamaraja anyway? Well, I'm a young boy, what use am I going to be of Yamaraja? So what's the use of giving me to Yamaraja? So after this consideration, Nachiketa came to the conclusion that the father said this out of anger. He didn't say right away, he doesn't know what he's talking about. That's what we would say. The old man doesn't know what he talks about. But Nachiketa did not. Nachiketa first gave benefit of doubt to why his father said, when he did not arrive at any kind of a proper explanation, then he came to the conclusion that the father said this out of anger. Then what do you say? Forget it. He said out of anger. Don't. But Nachiketa says, no. Even if father said out of anger, he said it anyway. And therefore, the father's words must be followed. Father's words must be made true. So he went to his father and says, Father, please let me go to Yamaraja, or let me go to hell. So what? That's what you told me to do. You've given me to Yamaraja. Mrityavetva dadami, I'm giving you to Mrityu. So please let me go. No, my child, I just didn't mean that. I just said out of anger. You don't take it seriously. Father would have said that, but Nachiketa says, but you said it anyway, and when the words come out from our mouth, they have to be followed. Look, nowhere in none of our ancestors have ever gone back on their words. And look at the people in the present, the leaders in society also, nobody ever goes back on their words. Therefore, it is not right that you should go back on your words, meaning that you must make your words true. Meaning, you must let me go to Yamaraja. Have you ever heard of this? It's called Mahavratam. A vratam was a vow that is followed under all circumstances. Like Lord Rama's father said that I am sending you to forest for 14 years. In fact, Dasharatha did not directly say, it is Kaikeyi that said that this is what your father wants. But father wants me to go, I will do. Similarly, Yamaraja Nachiketa says, my father said I should go to Yamaraja, I will do. Father pleaded with him, he says, no, I said out of anger, please, don't take it seriously. He says, no, Father, you said it and therefore your words must be made true. That's how Nachiketa wind up going to Yamaraja. Well, it's a strange situation. Why should anybody go to Yamaraja? But Nachiketa chose to go there. Meaning that he was committed to truth of Satyam. So these two qualities or virtues of Nachiketa we see. One is Shraddha, in the veracity of the words of scriptures. Other is Satyam, the commitment to the truth. Whatever that means. Meaning that whatever you need to do in order to follow the truth, you will do. If it means you will give up your life, you will do that. Here for Nachiketa, following the truth meant going to Yamaraja, meaning that giving up his life. But because of his commitment to truth and Shraddha, it seems that he did not have to give up his body. He went to Yamaraja as he was. So Nachiketa goes to Yamaraja as Nachiketa. And that is how there arose the possibility of this dialogue between Lord Yama, Lord of Death, and Nachiketa. When Nachiketa reached the palace of Yamaraja, it appears that Yamaraja had gone out for 3 days to perform his chores. His chores are well known, what Yamaraja does. Extracts, pulls the life out of it. This is his job. So in Kaṭha Upaniṣad, the question is asked, Yamaraja must be very cruel. To pull away the prana out of the living beings, it must be very cruel, is it not so? Who can do this? cruel person like that, how can he be teacher of Brahma Vidya? Can the teacher of Brahma Vidya or Vedanta, can he be cruel? If he is cruel, then does he deserve really to be a teacher? And would his words be effective at all? So the Tikakara explained that no, he is not cruel. He is appointed to this particular position to perform this role of Yamaraja, Lord of Death, and does it. Is it possible that you can perform a role with total detachment, as Lord Krishna teaches? In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna teaches, न शवाम तानि कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनंजय उदासीनवदासीनम असक्तम तेषु कर्मसु. Hey Dhananjaya, those karmas that I perform, the karma of creation, sustenance, dissolution, nibadnanti, they do not bind me. How come? Udasina. Because I remain like Udasina, a totally disinterested person, entity. Disinterested in the outcome. Meaning I have no personal agenda at all, Lord Krishna says, I have no personal agenda at all in whatever it is that I appear to be doing. And therefore, he never gets affected by the results of action that are being performed. Similarly also, Yamaraja performs his actions. Udasina, as totally and disinterested, unattached person. Meaning that he does not get angry, doesn't need cruelty, doesn't get angry to perform his role. I don't know how to do that, but that's how he does. There are other examples in our scriptures. At one point, Indra says to Pratardana, Indra is the ruler of all the three worlds, It's Triloki Nath. As a ruler, he has to do both pleasant and unpleasant things. A ruler can only rule when he performs nigraha and anugraha. Sometimes you have to punish people also, and sometimes you have to bless them, favor them. So Indra claims that, look, I killed so many, the Rakshasa and this, that, and still I am totally unaffected by that. So Yamaraja can perform this, remaining unaffected. Meaning that Yamaraja, who is apparently performing the role of depriving or removing life of the living beings, also can be a teacher of Brahma Vidya. Because he remains totally unattached to all those actions. That's how Nachiketa becomes a disciple, Yamaraja becomes the teacher of Brahma Vidya in this Upanishad called Kaṭha Upaniṣad. It is customary to tell story or give anecdotes, sometimes in the background of which the knowledge is imparted. So this is a story, anecdote that we are told. Circumstances in which Nachiketa became the disciple of Yamaraja. And when Nachiketa reaches the palace of Yamaraja, it appears that Yamaraja was out for 3 days. And Nachiketa was invited by Yamaraja's, attendant, and please come, take your seat, have this food. But Nachiketa refused. He said, my father has given me to Yamaraja, so I am his property. I cannot do anything without his permission. For 3 days, therefore, he stayed hungry and thirsty. Yamaraja comes and discovers that this Brahmin boy has come. He sees in all respect and says that I am very sorry to learn that you stayed in my home hungry for 3 nights. To compensate for that, I offer you 3 boons. One for every night that you stayed hungry. This Nachiketa is offered 3 boons by Yamaraja. See, this also is Shraddha. His commitment to dharma. Otherwise, he's not a very old, he's a young boy, really, 10, 12 years old. Any food is offered, anybody would eat, isn't it? He's hungry. But he did not. And that qualified him to earn 3 boons from Yamaraja, who said that I offer you 3 boons. For every night that you stayed hungry in my home, please take 3 boons. Today's young man would ask for what? In my first boon I want a BMW. In second boon I want a beach house, something like that. Nachiketa did not ask anything for himself to begin with. He says, my father must be very upset, he must be regretting for what he told me that I am giving you to death. And I insisted upon following his command. He must be regretting. So, Yamaraja, please, my first boon is that let my father enjoy peace of mind. Let him become free from a sense of guilt and regret and enjoy peace of mind. His father, so first, what really concerns him is first thing is his father. Secondly, he says, the people in the society always want to go to heaven, so please give me the Vidya which I can share with the people, so to satisfy the desire for reaching heaven. And third boon he uses for himself. Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushe astityeke nayamastiti chaike edad vidyamanushishtastvayaham pranamesha prathama. So this is my first boon. What do you want? I hear that after the person dies, yeyam prete manushe, when a human being dies, vichikitsa, this doubt always remains. But after death, something remains or not. Meaning that, does death bring an end to the existence? Or something continues to exist even after death of the body? Is body the Atma, the ultimate truth? Or is there an Atma of the self other than the body? That body dies, the self does not die? Astityege, nayamastirichege. Some say that after death also something remains. Some say nothing remains after death. Etad vidyam anusishtastvayam. I want to know this as taught by you. I want to know this. Yamuna says, okay, if you want to know, go anywhere. There are so many teachers, so many rishis are there. No, I want to know from you. But I have come to you, and who can be better teacher than you, more learned than you? Varanamesha Varastu, this is my third boon of the three. And this is how Nachiketa's commitment, his Shraddha and commitment to truth earned him this self-knowledge. And that's how the Lord Yama gives a long discourse called Kaṭha to Yama and Nachiketa. At one point in time, this is being said. The statement that we have selected, Vijnana sarthayastu manah pragrahavan naraha sodvanah paramapnoti tad vishnoh paramam padam saha advanah param apnoti. That pilgrim, apnoti, param apnoti, attains the other end of his road, meaning attains the destination. Tad Vishnu paramam padam, which is the supreme abode of Lord Vishnu. What is the qualification of that pilgrim? The first line says, Vijnana sarthayastu manah pragrahavan naraha. This pilgrim has a vehicle, which is a chariot. Not a motor car, but a chariot those days. Chariot was like motor car those days. And Upanishad gives the imagery of a chariot to describe ourselves. Shariram rathameva tu, Upanishad says, this body is in place of the chariot. Atman rathinam vidhi, the Jivatma itself is the master of the chariot who is riding the chariot. Buddhim tu sartham vidhi, the buddhi, the intellect is in the place of the charioteer, the driver. Indriyani, hayan, ahu, the organs of perception are in place of the horses of the chariot. Vishayam steshu gocharan, the sense objects are the path along which these horses of sense organs ride. Manah pragrahamevacha, the mind is the pragraham, the rein. And buddhim sartham vidhi, buddhi, the intellect is the charioteer. The self is the master of the chariot who rides the chariot. So this is how Kaṭha describes our life as a journey, and to carry out this journey, Ishvara has given us a very appropriate vehicle of the nature of a chariot, with all the paraphernalia, with all the necessary equipment to carry out the journey successfully. And so this one says here, who is the right charioteer? What does it do and how does it reach its destination? All of that is described here in this passage that we have selected. We will continue discussion in next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.